Hello and welcome to part 2 of adding comments to our project management application. In this part, we are going to create the self-referencing models or a self-referencing model, and we're going to use that to, well, reply to our comments, which basically means commenting on comments. So let's dive into it. To comment on our comments, we first have to dive into our data model. So let's open up the schema view of our models. Here, what we are going to do is we are going to be dragging a comment or a relation to our comment. So drag from the comment model the relation back. You can do either that or click on the comment model itself and say in the relation tab, create a new relation, which I am going to do. So it already stands as a good belongs to type. And we are going to connect that to the comment model. So belongs to comment. So yeah, as it says, a comment belongs to a comment. The only thing we need to do is make sure that we name it a little different, because it is important that once we are going to filter from comment to comment, we need to make sure that we realize which reply belongs to which comment. And that's what we're going to do by calling it comment reaction. Or reaction comment, name it reply, whatever you prefer. So comment reactions, that's the name of the relation I'm going to add, and there you go. And as you can see, the moment you add one of these, so in this case we have added the comment reaction, the has many has also been created, because it does not only create the relation one way, it also creates the relation the other way around. So this is what we're going to be using to set up the commenting feature even further. So we're going to dive into our project detail page, and in here we are going to be adding the commenting section. But I don't want it to just be a little reply field underneath the comment. I would like a pop-up to appear that shows the original comment and allows us to reply to that. So what we're going to be doing is I'm going to add a button and a dialog component, and in the dialog component we are going to be adding our replies. So let's go down and look for a nice little simple button, and we're going to be adding that over here. I'm also going to look at the column and say that I want the alignment to be right. Well, maybe not. Let's see. Let's keep it center. We're going to be adding a new, let's go back to project details. See, look, it doesn't always go smooth and flawless. Sometimes you need some time, you need to figure it out. We're going to be adding a column into this box. I'm going to take away all of the inner spacing, and I just wanted to fill it up. So max width, everything, no spacing, and the button is going to be added to the column. And now I can say the alignment needs to be to the right, so that I can have the button on the right hand side. Feels appropriate to have the message over here, and if you want to reply, you have the button down there. So, and we're also going to write down reply. So this reply button is going to open up a dialog component. So let me grab that dialog component. We're going to do this step by step. So setting in the dialog component, configuring the dialog component, and then making sure that everything interacts nicely with each other by using interactions. So let's look at the dialog component, and I'm going to drag that underneath on the paper. And you can see your screen might turn gray immediately. Don't worry, that's just the dialog popping up in front of you. So basically what happens, what we're going to be doing is when I click on reply, this dialog pops up. It's going to ask us, hey, do you want to reply? So we're also going to change, instead of reply, or instead of dialog, we're going to change this to reply. And here I'm going to pop up the question being asked instead of the question that we see currently. So let me remove the content in here and add the comment that we have. So message, select the message, comment message, and there you go. And it can be a little bit bigger. So let's do title 5. That's going to be, is it going to be too big? It's all about checking and seeing whatever feels right, you know? Then the box beneath that is something we can remove because we don't need the cancel or the submit button right now. We are going to add a create form underneath the comment message. So there we go. Underneath in the column, we're going to add a comment create. And this is, again, we're only going to add a comment or add a message from a comment. Save. And then we are going to add a hidden input again. There we go. We're going to add it in our form. And we are going to add the comment ID this time. So if you might remember from the previous video, we added the project ID because we wanted to connect the comment to the project. In this case, we want to connect our comment to a new comment. So press save. So we have the comment message. And I'm going to remove the label here because I think it's pretty fair to people that you can reply. So write your reply here. It is very dark. We can do something with this styling later on. That's okay. That's okay. So let's make sure that we are going to that we configure the form appropriately. So we have the form. Let's dive into the action. First things first. Settings. Reply to project comment. Project detail. Just to make sure that I know where it is. And I want everyone to be able to reply because, of course, even web users are allowed to reply to the comments. What we could also do is filter this in another video on allowing only admins or project managers, for example, to reply. But that's something that we can do later. So save. And now we're going to do the same as previously, except instead of creating a project, an existing project, we already have an existing comment. So let's grab that existing comment object. Comment, there we go. And we are going to create the filter rule to get ID equals the ID we are passing through. So we are retrieving the comment we are replying to. Apply. Save. And let's go back. And here we are going to create a record and we're going to add a message. But this time the link we are going to create is not to a project, but we are going to create a link to, oh, my bad, over the reaction to an existing comment. So as you can see, we're going to use that new relation that we've created. So comment reactions to that existing comment. So this comment that is going to be created is going to be known as a reaction to an existing comment instead of just a regular comment. And again, imagine this is basically what we're doing is we have a folder filled with all kinds of cool holiday pictures, and within that folder we create another folder with even more awesome holiday pictures, and well, within that folder we can create another folder, etc. So that's all set. And now we can go back to our page. There we go, there we go. Well, we can already set one interaction because once we have successfully put up a reply, so let's select the form, we can close this dialog. So the first interaction that we're going to be setting is on action success. I want to hide the dialog. So let's see, there it is, dialog. Also, to make sure that this dialog is actually the proper one we are selecting, of course, make sure to name your dialog. So let's just have a look. I'm clicking on the dialog, going to call this comment dialog. Dialog you can just get to by just clicking on the gray areas. Then I'm going to open up the interactions in my create form again, just to make sure, and as you can see, the name has changed to comment dialog. Make sure to check this yourself as well, because it is important to double check those things every now and then. So now we can go back to, well, the page. We can click on the gray area and press visible in Builder. If we click this, there we go. It moves off. So now we have a comment. We can press reply, reply needs to open up the dialog. So let's set an interaction for that as well. So press the reply button, open up the interaction segment. And when I click the button, show/hide, I'm using the both. You can also use just show, but I always like to use show hide, because if for some reason you just want to double click it and hide it again, you can do so. And now we're going to use that comment dialog that we just gave a pretty nice name for us to recognize. Press save. So now when I press this, it opens and closes the dialog. Then the next step is adding a little data list underneath the paper that is going to show the replies. So we can do this in multiple ways. We can just drag a data list underneath our paper. We can also edit. Let's see, where are we going to edit? What feels nice? It feels nice to have it underneath it, because I don't want it to be in the main paper of the first comment. But you can also feel like dragging it inside the paper. The paper is the edge with the shadows that you can see on my screen. Within this paper, you can see the comment, the main comment. And now underneath that main comment, you will see all kinds of responses. So let's make sure that this data list has the model selected that we want, which is the comment model. And we're going to add the filter. So this is where we need to have a look again. The comment reaction. So over comment reaction. Oh, let me go back. So comment reaction, it doesn't show anything, but there we go. ID. So now it should look something like comment reactions.id equals comment ID. So what you're getting here again is the main comment we are responding to needs to connect to the reply which we've given that ID. So it's a lot of puzzling and connecting again. So there we go. And now we can grab a text component, add it in there. I'm going to say align in the center, align on the left. I'm going to leave it there for now. We're not doing a bunch of styling today. And I'm going to say reply comment message. And don't worry about which comment you're selecting, because the filtering system that we've set up currently only grabs the comment belonging to the one above it. So now the only item, the last thing that we need to do is make sure that once we have added a reply via our dialog, it actually refreshes this little data list as well. So let's make sure that we call this the reply data list. Click on the dialog, press visible in Builder, and there you go. You can access the dialog again. And now we're going back to the interactions on the form, interactions on the create form. Open up. When on the action success, we don't only want to hide this dialog, we also want to refresh that little data list. So refetch the reply data list. Make sure to get that reply data list, because you can refetch the entire comment data list, but it will not refetch what is inside. So now we're going to close this again. Let's press compile. Make sure that we open up the proper page. So there we go. It does not have a project ID, so let's just go to our project overview. Let's go to our first project, and in here I have already responded saying, I think the description is pretty fake, because the description is a meaningful and not fake description. Well, I don't think that's pretty fair. So let's reply, and we can do that by pressing the reply button. As you can see, reply. I think the description is pretty vague actually. I might update it next week. Greetings. Send, and the reply is added. I can also say test, question mark, and a new comment is added. I can add a new reply. Yes, the test is successful. There we go. So we have created a single commenting system and a replying system by using self-referencing models. So now let's go back to that self-referencing model just to show you what it looks like. As you can see here, it looks like a nice little, well, it refers to itself. This was quite of a challenging step, maybe not. That's awesome. Think of these self-referencing models as something that you can use in very specific situations, but it might occur more often than you think. We've also been working with some very awesome dynamic setup, asking someone a question via a pop-up dialog and then, well, showing that immediately in your page. So if you've been able to do everything today, good job. And see you in the next video.